They call it the hidden hunger. It's the cells literally signaling your nervous system that you don't have what you need. Your body ends up operating like a city in a brownout.
Is it just a nutrient deficiency in our food supply?
Yeah, to get the same nutrition from an apple that your grandfather ate, you'd have to eat 6 or 7 apples today. Minerals, they're like the wood. You've got amino acids, they're like the paper. And you've got the mitochondria. It has the power to light this and create energy in your body. Brain uses so much energy. The brain fog, it's usually the first thing that people report when they start getting mineral replenished. The thing to stop is using single mineral supplements. I want you to think about your body as an ecosystem, not as a car. I was very sick. In the brain, in a single neuron, you could have upwards of 2 million mitochondria. That's how much energy is being generated in the body. But imagine if you don't have the fuel, this body that has the ability to generate like 1,200 watts of electricity only is generating 700, 500 for somebody who's really doesn't eat healthy at all. What happens?
So if the modern world is depleting us, where do we go? What are some steps that you recommend?
Well, the thing is that
I have the pleasure of introducing Caroline Allen, and we are going to have a conversation about something that's really essential. We're going to talk about minerals. Well, first of all, you've dedicated so much of your career in your life to minerals. And we're going to give very practical strategies, and this is going to be very educational. So I want to make sure everybody, as you're listening to this, the audio, you're watching the full episode on YouTube, what was your inspiration?
It was about 10 years ago, and I was coming out of a corporate career in technology, and I was very sick. I had an autoimmune growing up. I had mold exposure, gluten intolerance, and I came out of that career with flatlined adrenals. They've been flatlined for over a year. I had really bad inflammation in my gut, even after being gluten-free for many years. I had bad inflammation in my mouth with bone loss in my teeth, recurring sinus infections. I didn't sleep at night, so I woke up 3, 4 times a night. Okay. So I was in very, very bad shape, and it's what led me to quit my career. And at that time, I met my business partner, Dan Howard, and he introduced me to plant-based humic and fulvic minerals. It was a liquid, tasted like water. I took a drink of it, 1 ounce a day. And 2 months, I went to my dentist. She looked in my mouth. She was like, oh my gosh, like what's changed? The tissues are pink and healthy, no bleeding when I had my teeth cleaned. So I was like, I think it might be these minerals. Then 4 months in, I went to my naturopath to review the results of my adrenal test. They were 1/3 of the way up the chart. We had been trying for over a year to try and just jumpstart them even a little bit. So I started paying attention at that point, going, wow, I think I feel better. I started sleeping through the night. I went through one season, another, I didn't get sick. And all of those symptoms that I described plus more just resolved. Now, if it had only been 1 or 2 things, I probably wouldn't have gone down the rabbit hole of learning and researching, but it was so many things. And so I just started studying, and I love learning. So I didn't even know how a cell works. You know, I had to study microbiology and cellular biology and chemistry and mineral depletion and replenishment, and I had to learn everything.
Yeah.
But every time I would learn something, my brain would just be so excited because no one in all of my health journey had ever mentioned minerals.
And now you're CEO of Beam Minerals, which
Yeah.
I want to talk about also. Where are most people getting their minerals? Are most people just deficient in minerals? Like, why are they so essential?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's talk about it, because that's the thing that blew my mind, okay? So minerals, the way I like to describe it is, if you're going to build a campfire, you're going to need some wood and you're going to need some paper.
Yeah.
And you're going to need a match to light the fire, okay? So in your cells, inside your cells, you've got minerals, they're like the wood. You've got amino acids, they're like the paper. And you've got the mitochondria. It has the power to light this and create energy in your body. Now, the scale of how it works in your body is so amazing. You've got about 37 trillion cells in your body, maybe 70 if you're a big guy. And inside of each cell, it's not like you have one mitochondria to a cell. On the back of my hand, there's maybe 200 mitochondria in a single cell.
Mm-hmm.
In my heart, up to 5 to 8,000 maybe mitochondria in a single cell. In the brain, in a single neuron, you could have upwards of 2 million mitochondria.
Wow.
So that's how much energy is being generated in the body every second. But imagine if you don't have the fuel. So this body that has the ability to generate like 1,200 watts of electricity every day
Mm-hmm.
only is generating 700, maybe 500 for somebody who's really doesn't eat healthy at all. So what happens? The body says, oh, first of all, it sends you on a search, so your nervous system gets amped up
Mm-hmm.
because it's saying, I need something, I need something. They call it the hidden hunger. Isn't that what most people are feeling? Like something's just missing, I can't put my finger on. And it's the cells literally signaling your nervous system that you don't have what you need. So your body ends up operating like a city in a brownout.
Does where do most people? Is it just a nutrient deficiency in our food supply?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
they're not getting it from the soil, or
yeah.
where's?
Well, I really like to describe it this way because it's something people can remember. So when a plant grows in the soil, the way it creates all of its structure is by pulling minerals from the soil.
Right.
In fact, all of the structure everywhere, all structure in the universe is minerals,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So in nature, a plant grows, at some point it dies and it decomposes and it delivers its minerals back into the soil. But we cultivate, so we grow our food in the soil, we take it away, we harvest it, we package it, we eat it away, even the refuse never gets back to the
Right.
soil. So we've done this for hundreds of years, and our soils, they say that to get the same nutrition from an apple that your grandfather ate, you'd have to eat 6 or 7 apples today.
Because we're turning it over so fast.
Exactly, exactly.
Wow.
So you cannot get enough of this basic fuel from the food you eat anymore. It's not possible. And then to exacerbate it, we're all drinking bottled and filtered water, which we need to because we've got pollutants in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that empty water goes straight through, it pulls minerals from the body. So now you have a really bad situation. And what happens is, doctors tell me now that patients come to them not with just 1 or 2 chronic symptoms, but with 5 or 6. Because again, it's that body operating in a brownout. It has to pick and choose what it can do and what it can't.
So if the modern world is depleting us, and I think we could all, it resonates, right? We talked earlier about just our intuition. Where do we go? What's the solution here for
Yeah.
everyone's watching at home or listening? They want to be at their best. They want to have their limitless life and brain. What are some steps that you recommend?
Well, here's the cool thing.
And are there certain minerals that are more important than others?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that nature already solved the problem because guess what? All cellular life on the planet needs like 18 to 22 minerals to thrive. So, and it needs them in proper ratios. So minerals work together, not alone. They need to be in balance. So nature had to solve the problem because out in nature, there's no way for this tree to get, 500 milligrams of magnesium, you see. So instead, nature created these pre-formulated natural molecules, and they're called humic and fulvic. And they are the result of decomposing freshwater plants.
So maybe we could talk about those two
Yeah.
and what happens when we're lacking these, and then what happens when we could replenish and restore.
Yeah. So what happens, I call it, it's one of those all boats off the sand at the same time. When the tide comes in, all of the boats lift up, and that's what happened in my body. By reconnecting myself to the natural, sustainable loop that nature relies on, which is humic and fulvic.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was put humic and fulvic in my body, and I reconnected to the natural way that things work in nature. Things grow, they die, they decompose, they go back into the earth, and the earth stores that energy for future use by cellular systems. So it's so simple. You don't have to, I've spent a lot of time in the health food store aisles talking to people, they're picking up bottle after bottle of this and, when am I going to take it and how much do I take and can I take it with food and without? It's very complex and expensive, but actually nature already solved it and all you need to do is use humic and fulvic. They're very, very simple tools.
I mean, I think it's pretty extraordinary when you give what you nourish flourishes, right?
Mhm.
And when you give your body what it needs, it could do extraordinary things.
Yeah.
And I would imagine a lot of people are leveling up in their health when their mitochondria is functioning, their battery is restored,
Exactly.
right? Like we plug in our phones to be able to charge them, but how often are people like charging their own batteries,
Exactly.
especially
So,
the brain? With
I mean, and
mitochondria.
exactly, like think about 2 million mitochondria in
And
a
people
single.
struggling with mental fatigue, brain fog.
Exactly. It's one of the biggest effects from mineral deficiency because the brain uses so much energy, the brain fog. So it's usually the first thing that people report when they start getting mineral replenished. It's like, oh, like the clouds, I can think, I can gather my thoughts, I can focus.
So if there are three things you want, like for me, if in order for me to make a change, there are only four changes you can make. You stop something, you start something, you do less of something, or you do more of something,
Mhm.
right? And so what are three things that people should maybe stop or do less of
Mhm.
that's affecting the quality mineral supply? And what are three things you could recommend for listeners, viewers to nourish themselves?
Yeah. Well, there's a few things I would recommend they stop relative to mineral
Mhm.
replenishment in
Yeah.
the body. And the first is using single mineral supplements. So, magnesium for sleep, as an example, or using calcium for your bones, or things like taking single minerals. They don't work that way. Minerals, this is the biggest thing I'm trying to change, is helping people to understand that minerals work together in very specific ratios and balances. So let's say you have leg cramps and you take magnesium thinking that's going to
Mhm.
fix your leg cramp. But the problem is it might not be from magnesium. It might be from the balance of potassium and sodium in your body, or it might be from a lack of phosphorus. You have no idea, and there is no way for any chat GPT or incredibly smart practitioner to know. Even if you go and test and you get a test and it says, oh, you're low in this and you're high in that, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
And that's why, so the thing to stop is using single mineral supplements. The thing to start is use nature's solution. It's a technology for mineral replenishment, humic and fulvic.
Well, I think most people, even when people learn from nature, right? Because nature has solved
Exactly.
their whole science is based on this
Mhm.
that lend into technology, human and otherwise.
Yeah.
Somebody who travels a lot,
Mhm.
right? And they're concerned about their health. And, and there's other areas we could talk about in terms of sleep and exercise and such when you're traveling. When you're traveling, what's your thoughts around
Mhm.
keeping healthy around minerals?
Well, I think the humic and fulvic, I'll be taking them for the rest of my life. They're so great. So we, of course, have travel packs. They're very small little bottles that you can carry in your carry-on luggage, but we also have capsules. So if you're going on a long trip, our little travel packs will last you 3 or 4 or 5 days, depending on your size of body. But our capsules, just one capsule a day, is like getting all the humic and fulvic that you need in your body. So it makes it really easy for travel.
So the question has to do with the quality of the minerals, right? Because people go on Amazon or if they're getting kind of supplements, and people think they're taking their multivitamin and it has vitamins and minerals.
Yeah. So most supplements most mineral supplements are made from rocks, shells, bones, and salts. Those are the things that you mostly get in pill, powder, and stick pack, like electrolyte stick pack form. Most of those are lab formulated. They're made from materials that your gut cannot break down very well at all. And the thing about minerals is for them to get broken down, absorbed into your bloodstream, and then assimilated into your cell, they have to be broken down to their molecular components. So about 95%, maybe 93% of what you put in your body that way goes straight through. So those pills, powders, things, the salts have a better absorption. But the big problem with salt-based electrolytes is your gut, like the rivers on Earth, is a freshwater system. So you don't want to use salts on a regular basis because it messes up your river system, your digestive tract.
So are you saying that plant-based minerals would be the natural way to go?
Yes.
It's the healthiest.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say both. So, and then when you're talking about quality of plant-based minerals, what you need to know, you really need to talk to the company, ask them for their certificate of analysis, make sure that it doesn't have any high levels of heavy metals or things that you're going to not want to be dealing with. Although, humic, one of the really amazing things about humic is that it has the ability to lower heavy metal toxicity in the body. It's one of the most effective binders of heavy metals. There's a question over there.
And there are a lot of people who struggle with heavy metal toxicity.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
whether it's mercury or nice.
Yeah.
Question has to do with well water for your home. Any thoughts on positive, negative?
As long as you've had your well water tested to ensure that it doesn't have any things leaching in from farming or wherever you are that could be bad, fantastic. I think well water is the best. What happens a lot is people come to the city, or maybe you're trying to get healthy. You're like, oh, I'm going to get a reverse osmosis filter under the sink in my house. All of the water I drink now is reverse osmosis, and people's mineral levels tank. I hear this all the time.
Because it's leaching the minerals?
No, because you're just not getting any minerals in the water you drink. So he's getting great mineral replenishment just from the well water he's drinking.
The question is for the podcast is, and this is interesting. I love to keep it live on the recording here because it's a different dynamic. How do you know it's working? Like, is there a way of measuring it? Can people go to their nutritionists, functional labs, or like, what do you recommend? I mean, certainly intuition, right? In terms of what's working for you, then you're going to trust that. Especially the healthier you are, the more sensitive you are to what you need.
So you can test. The ways to test for minerals is you want to do an intercellular test. The best test that I recommend is something called oligoscan. It uses light that shines into 4 places on your palm. It uses material science. It's very stable science, and it returns a reading of the levels of all of your beneficial minerals, electrolytes, heavy metals, vitamin levels, intercellularly. That's the important thing. Most people are doing mineral tests with their blood or with their feces, and that's only telling you what minerals you've eaten in the last maybe 72 hours. So it's not really useful to you because remember, where are the mitochondria? They're inside your cells.
Question is, have a reverse osmosis equipment. It has a setting to be able to add minerals. And then the second part of the question also is, can you have too many minerals over certain minerals?
Yeah. Yes, you can definitely have too many minerals if you're only using single mineral supplements. In fact, any mineral in a concentration is considered a toxicity to an ecosystem. Your body is a cellular ecosystem. The difference here's one of the key components that I want to explain with humic and fulvic. And I want to talk about fulvic. So fulvic is a molecule designed by nature. It has all the minerals you need, formulated in the natural ratios that your body utilizes. So it has lots of what we call the macro minerals, magnesium, potassium, calcium, et cetera. But it also has all of the micronutrients that you need, that you absolutely have to have in the proper ratios. But even more so than that, the fulvic molecule is a delivery system. It's unlike any other molecule on Earth. What it does is it carries this full spectrum of minerals into your cell, and then it does something no other molecule can do. It changes its polarity. So if you imagine a magnet with metal stuck to it and you turn the magnet off and those things would fall off, that's what happens inside your cell. The fulvic carries the minerals in, it changes its polarity, and it drops those things off inside the cell. It's literally a technology designed by nature to deliver the full spectrum of minerals into your cells. That's what those minerals that you're getting into your reverse osmosis don't have. They're rocks, shells, and bones, probably, maybe some salts, but they don't have the delivery system. So their bioavailability, their ability to get into your cells, very small.
Where do your, for B minerals, where do they come from?
Well, let's talk about where humic and fulvic come from, because that's, to me, really exciting. And then I can tell you where ours come from. But humic, so imagine the Earth 65 million years ago was covered with rainforests. Meteor hit the Yucatan, killed 75% of all life on Earth in a few hours. And all of these rainforests around the Earth.
You're a great storyteller.
Died and thank you. And died and decomposed. And deposited huge amounts of mineral content into the Earth for use by future cellular systems. So there are humic and fulvic substances around the Earth. There's shilajit in the Himalayas. There's peat in the British Isles. In the North America, we have something called humate, leonardite. Our material that we use in our products is called humate. It's a black, very mineral-rich crystalline substance that comes from about 10 to 12 feet from below the Earth in a very remote area. So it's never had contact with modern pollutants, even acid rain or any kind of effluent from manufacturing or mining or anything. So very, very pure, clean substance.
Working with high performers like athletes, it's
Yeah.
entertainers, and how do you, minerals, how do you make minerals more alluring, interesting, sexy, so people pay attention and
Yeah, just put me in the room with them. No, no, I'm joking. I work with a lot of trainers of elite athletes, Olympic athletes, tennis pros, triathletes, trainers of triathletes, and all high performance athletes struggle with cramping. They struggle with depletion and hydration. They're all looking for a long-term solution. The first time I actually ever dealt with this was when a trainer came to me of elite triathletes in the aging quadrant who were starting to get osteopenia and osteoporosis. And he's like, what's going on? And I explained to him that when you put massive amounts of potassium and magnesium in the gut using salt-based electrolytes every day for years, the body has to balance that high amount, that concentration of minerals, and it pulls it from the bones, from the teeth, you see? So when I start to talk to these athletes, I say, give me 2 months. Just give me 2 months. And stop taking any salt-based electrolytes. Just use the fulvic for your energy, for your electrolyte replenishment. Use the humic for your recovery. They never go back. They never go back.
I have a serious iron deficiency. They're considering doing IV iron infusion. I am resisting. Now remember, this is not meant to diagnose or treat. This is not just for our protection, it's for your protection. It's not medical advice.
Yeah, what I'll tell you about iron. So I want you to think about your body as an ecosystem, not as a car. So you can't just fill up your iron tank. Doesn't work like that. So if you're having an iron deficiency, you're going to want to look at whether you have parasites or a heavy metal toxicity, so that your body's not absorbing iron because either the receptor sites are being taken up by a heavy metal, or the parasites are actually metabolizing that iron prior to you getting it. So there's probably an underlying health issue you need to look at. But the infusion of iron might help on a very short-term basis, but it's kind of money down the drain. You're going to spend money on it. It's going to come, it's going to go. It's going to come, it's going to go. It's not a long-term solution.
You're talking about reverse osmosis and
What's the
and
recommendation?
yeah, recommendations.
So every time I have reverse osmosis water, every time I fill up my glass and I pour a little Fulvic in it, boom, done, perfect. It's so easy.
A question online. Turmeric and curcumin.
Turmeric and curcumin are really great for antioxidants. People use them for that, for inflammation. Fantastic. If you use Humic and Fulvic, they're actually going to supercharge that curcumin and turmeric. So a good friend of mine just is launching her book called The Inflammation Code. Her name's Shivani Gupta. And she talks a lot about that. And she talks about how important it is to have minerals in the body to support inflammation reduction.
People with good intentions, they buy, the question is, if they go out and buy vitamins, how do they know if it's being helpful or it's being harmful?
What I want to help people to understand is your body is not a car. And I don't care how many supplemental facts panels tell you how many RDA, what RDA percentage of a particular mineral you're getting from this supplement. It has nothing to do with that. It's not how much you get, it's how bioavailable it is. So when you're looking at a supplement, what you want to ask is, how much of this is actually going to get broken down in my body? How is my body going to absorb that? How is my body going to get that into my cells? So you're shifting your whole thinking. I'm literally thinking, I'm turning it on its head. Rather than think, we're taught this, all these recommended daily allowances and the pill bottles and the amounts and the particular protocols with certain amounts and all of that. And I'm telling you, your body is much more complex and also innately wise. If you provide the minerals in the balanced ways so that the body, in its incredible wisdom, can just access what it needs, when it needs it, where it needs it, how it needs it, it will do its job. So that's what I really ask people to do. In fact, I have, with my book that I'm putting out, I have a whole mineral reset program. And one of the things I have people do is line up all your supplements. Actually look at the back, see what's in it. Ask yourself, what is that? That line, that, some words that you don't know. What is it? What is its purpose? Really, really look into it.
I have a question there about B minerals and where do people find it? Obviously, you're here, so you're at the event and you can get the event special. Where can people go to find out more about it?
Yeah, you can find us at bminerals.com. We also have a great learn section, lots of different blogs. They're cited. So if you're a science kind of person and want to go geek out a bit, it's easy to find. It's just under our main menu and learn. And you can use, if you want to go to our site, you can use Jim's.
Use KWIK and they'll extend a discount for all of you also. So you can either get it here at the event or you can get conveniently shipped also as well. We'll put this all in the show notes, always at jimkwik.com/notes. And I'm looking forward to that book. When's the book coming out?
The book is coming out April 28th. Very excited about it. You can, if anyone would like to order it now, you can go to mineralresetbook.com and get pre-order, and we're going to start doing a lot of teaching beforehand and dropping out information. So that could be a good thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for this live podcast conversation. Again, uh, everything in life, right? You nourish what you nourish flourishes, right? And it's when you give your body what it needs, it does. You do have this innate intelligence, and it could do remarkable things. And I want to thank you so much for your time,
you.
your talent, all the research, and your sharing with our community.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause, Caroline.
Thank you so much.
And again, if you're watching this episode, listen to this episode, we look forward to seeing you in the next one. And until then, be limitless.